Hello, everyone. Welcome to Durrett's Take. It's that time of the week where I go over my takeaways from last week, my predictions for this week. So let's get started with the Thursday night football game last week between San Francisco and Seattle. Basically, while the final score may not indicate so, 49ers continue to dominate. And I know I said 49ers won't make the Super Bowl because of the Jimmy G injury, but now I'm starting to rethink that. Saturday, you got the Colts versus the Vikings. Congrats to the Colts for blowing the largest NFL lead in history. As for Jeff Saturday, I know he had a good start to his interim coaching campaign, and now it's clear to see that he is not going to be the coach next year. Ravens versus Browns. While Browns are happy to get their first win with Deshaun Watson as quarterback, I'm still not seeing anything that should get you excited for next year. And over the final three games, that's what I want to see from Watson. It's like, show me something that makes me feel like, okay, you'll get the hang of it next year, or you found a rhythm or something like that. Dolphins versus Bills. Congrats to the Bills for making the clutch plays to win and win the division. But if I'm the Bills defense, that was embarrassing to allow Miami to run all over you like that and to not get enough pressure on Tua when the 49ers in an unhealthy Chargers defense was able to do so. And you were able to do so against the Jets the previous week. So it's like, that shame on the Bills there. For the Dolphins, 3-game lose streak's not great, but it's not all doom and gloom because they control their destiny. Just do your job and win, and you'll be in. Eagles versus Bears. Congrats to the Bears for making this a closer game than it should have been. We'll see with Jalen Hurts sprained shoulder thing how that goes. How long he's going to be out for. Falcons and Saints. To me, it's not. There's not too much to gather from this game. Obviously, the Saints defenses usually give a bunch of rush yards. They did in this game to the Falcons, Tyler Gier and Ritter and company, so that wasn't great. But for the Falcons, though, this was more to see, okay, what does quarterback Desmond Ritter look like in his first start? And to me, he's basically like Malik Willis. Definitely has the athletic traits and all that, but it's just like he's a project. Definitely needs to be more refined as a passer. This is not going to be define his career. It's just one star. We'll see how he does the next couple of starts, and we'll go from there. Steelers versus Panthers. I know the Panthers had some good vibes coming in this game, and now they just lost it. But it's not all doom and gloom for the Panthers. Even if they lose to the Lions at home this upcoming week, they still play Tampa and New Orleans. So if they win those games, they still win a division. So everything's still right in front of them. And for Mitchell Trubisky, congrats to him because he had a horrible game against the Ravens, but this game he played much better. Cowboys versus Jaguars. Obviously as a Cowboys fan, didn't like the outcome of this game. The game-winning interception. Noah Brown needs to catch that or bat it in. That is what it is. You can't allow the defender to intercept that or return for a touchdown. However, Dak's interception problems is alarming now, and then that first interception was horrible because the Cowboys were up 17, Jags scored a touchdown, cut deficit 10, and on their own side of the field, Dak throws a interception. It was a bad one, and then the Jags scored another touchdown, cut the deficit to 3, and there you go. So that the Cowboys need to get that fixed. But then the thing that won't be able to get fixed is that they just have a lot of injuries on the defensive side. So their defense is not as good as it was just a month or two ago. So that might be an issue going forward. Chiefs versus Texans. Again, it's not great the Chiefs played a close game against a bad team, but at least they got another win. Lions versus Jets. A lot of people blame Zach Wilson. And I will admit, he was inconsistent. That's definitely undeniable. However, losing the game was not mostly his fault. Special teams failing with a punt return for a touchdown. That's the second time it's happened to him when he was started in his past two starts. 2, after Zach Wilson gave you a lead with a touchdown with like 4 minutes left, where it was in the fourth quarter, the defense couldn't get a stop on 4th and inches of midfield and light a wide open backup tight end to run 50 yards untouched for a touchdown. It's like, that is unacceptable. And then the Jets mismanaged the clock situation by having an extra timeout left when they were going for their tying field goal attempt, which is unacceptable. I know Zach Wilson took some sacks, obviously, but that's just bad O-line, and then he missed a few passes here and there. I understand that, but it's like, if Jets would have managed that right, it would have been a closer field goal. Maybe the kicker would have botched it like he did in this one, where it looked like he just completely choked since it wasn't even close from the very get-go. As for the Jets, obviously the last 3 games, Jags, at Seahawks, at Dolphins is tough, but if they win out, they can still make the playoffs. So we'll see what they do. And then for the Lions, if they handle their business against teams they should beat, then they'll finally make the playoffs. Um, Cardinals versus Broncos, not a watchable game. Congrats to the Broncos for finally breaking their losing streak. Um, Patriots versus Raiders, one of the craziest ends to a game I've ever seen. And I feel this loss will cost the Patriots a playoff spot because, Cincy, Miami, and at Buffalo the next 3 weeks, good luck with that. They'll be lucky to get one win there. They really needed this win and didn't get it. Titans versus Chargers. I knew the Chargers were going to be flat in this game, so I predicted an upset here. But credit Herbert, finding ways to win at the end of the game. And now they get 3 easy teams at Indy, and then Rams and Broncos. Take care of business like you should, and you can finally be in the playoffs. Bengals versus Bucks. Credit to the Bucks for looking good in the first half, but they went back to their old ways in the second half, not doing well. Now, it's not doom and gloom yet. However, if they lose at Arizona this week to a third-string quarterback, then you can sound off the panic alarms. For the Bengals, they're in the mix with the Chiefs and Bills for that 1 seed, so it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out there. Giants versus Commanders. Where this game was lost for the Commanders is the turnovers. Giants took advantage of the turnovers, and that's why they won the game. And as long as the Giants don't lose the last 3 games, they'll make the playoffs. And for the Commanders, can't say that because Detroit's hot, and who knows what Seattle will do. So Commanders basically have to hope that the Lions collapse, basically, in order for themselves to get the last spot. Monday Night Football between Rams and Packers. Packers fans are excited that they finally played a good game on both sides of the ball. But however, there's no reason to be excited here. Packers, while they're still not mathematically eliminated, are basically eliminated for the playoffs. Now time for my Week 16 predictions. For Thursday Night Football, the Jaguars and Jets. I feel like this is one of those games where, kind of like the Lions, the Jets should win that game, but something goes wrong at the end to where the Jacksonville survives, and they remain hot and have the Jacksonville winning 27-26. Saturday, you got most of the games are on Saturday this week due to it being Christmas on Sunday, but you got Bills versus Bears. Because the Bills have shown their run defense not great, I feel like Justin Fields is going to go off here, but the Bears defense won't be able to contain the Bills, so I have the Bills winning 35-24. Saints versus Browns, if this was at Saints maybe, but I feel like in the cold, in the wind, I feel like it's not conducive for Andy Dalton and his led offense there, so I feel like Browns will win, but because Browns are still not humming out things offensively, it'll be a close, low-scoring game, but the Browns will emerge victorious 16-13. Texans versus Titans. Now, the Titans need to get out of this 4 or 5 game losing streak that they're on, and I feel like they finally will here. Now, it won't be easy because, again, the Texans, they keep on playing the Cowboys and Chiefs. They keep on playing teams close right now, but I feel like the Titans will, depending, of course, on Ryan Tannehill's health status, but assuming he's going to be playing all that, I feel like Titans can get the win here. To keep themselves a game ahead of the Jags here, 19-13. Seahawks versus Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs should win, but again, as we've seen from the Chiefs recently against bad teams, I feel like the Seahawks will make this a competitive game, but it'll take like some fourth quarter magic for the Chiefs to emerge victorious here, and I have them winning at home 27-20. Giants versus Vikings. Now, this would be a close game, as Minnesota likes to play a close game coming around to the wire. But again, one-possession games, I like Minnesota, so I have Minnesota winning this game 24-20. Bengals versus Patriots. I feel like this is going to be similar to the Bucs game, but the Bengals I feel like might struggle in the first half against a Bill Belichick defense, but in the second half they'll start to figure things out. And I have Cincinnati winning 19-10. Lions versus Panthers. I have this being a very close game coming down right to the wire. And after the Lions, are all high and mighty basically after beating the Jets at the Jets last week. I could see them they need to come back down to earth, and the Panthers can do that to them on the road. But I feel like the Lions will squeak out a win here 21-20. Falcons versus Ravens. Despite still most likely no Lamar Jackson, I know Tyler Hunt did perform well last week, but the Falcons defense will be a much easier test, and I feel like the Ravens at home will get the win here. They keep themselves in the wild card mix here 20-10. Commanders versus 49ers. Again, I feel like 49ers defense will just cause too much problems for a battle line in Washington there, so I have the 49ers winning 24-10. Eagles versus Cowboys. If my gut feeling tells me that Gardner Minshew is going to be starting now, Jalen Hurts, they should rest him. So therefore, I feel like Dallas will win this game. Now it'll be like close what it should be, but like in the fourth quarter, Dallas to pull away this time, unlike last week, and have them winning 27-17. And then for Saturday night, you got the Raiders versus the Steelers. This is one of those coin flip type of games. I'm not sure what's going to happen. With Kenny Pickett being back, I'm going to take the Steelers to win this game at home, barely 23-20. And then for the three Christmas games, you got Packers and Dolphins. I do feel like Packers offensively, since they figured stuff out, can do something. But I feel like the Packers defense, while they played good last week, they're not going to be able to slow down this Miami offense based off what we've seen from the Packers defense throughout the season. So I have Miami winning by 2 scores, 35-20. Broncos versus Rams, again, coin flip type of game. I'm not sure what's going to happen here, but I'm going to go ahead and go with the Broncos since they have the better defense to win this game. And the low scoring one, I have them winning 16-13. And then for Sunday, I got Buccaneers versus Cardinals. Again, this is a game where the Bucs should win easily, so I have them winning 28-6. And then for Monday Night Football, you got the Chargers versus the Colts. I feel like after the Colts got embarrassed last week, they'll be competitive in this game, but again, the Chargers will just be too much for them, so I have Chargers winning 24-16. So thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel if you want about me. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day.